The thing you just exactly said, like it is on Miracle. Like we wanted him on a playmaker, we've got it, but
yeah,
if he has a rough lane, I'm a bit concerned, and I think he might with the Shadowfiend matchup and then the rotations.
I have to think both of these Beast Coast supports can kind of rotate and maybe fight over some of these early runes, even going for some of these water runes. Good friend of Beast Coast. He's helped them, I think, helped them qualify for TI before in the past. So, you know, if there's a time to maybe pay back the favorite here, Shopify could use some wins, but I don't think this Beast Coast team they're not going to go easy at all. But yeah, I think that's a really good point, though, what you're saying. Like, how these fights over like runes go and how the lane goes pre-level 6. Once Miracle's level 6, like he can avoid those ganks and get away from a fissure or shaker rotation, but like a level 5 SF getting a fissure from a shaker can just be a kill on a void spirit.
A lot of that's going to have to come down to the early game, so the early lanes, so first couple of minutes, and if they go very well, then that will enable Stinger and Schofield to start to move. But if their cores are struggling, and you will kind of have to continue to babysit them for a little bit longer of a time. It does look like Crit's going to start down bottom at the moment. They really want to try and slow down Sacred on the Timber.
Yeah, we'll see if he goes through the gate. He's gone for the Starstorm level 1, so just getting some extra early damage and just throwing out these early right clicks as there we go. The first fissure just to try and secure the Timber's lane, pull the wave back, and he will TP himself to the top lane, so no tri-lanes today.
Just one thing to mention is that Beast Coast, they put pretty high priority on those bounty runes with the 2-for-2 trade. Often we see the Earthshaker getting a double fissure, not just one that we just saw. So will mean that the lane is still in a pretty good position for Shopify regardless. And you see how aggressive they're playing. Like Arteezy. Oops.
Tanked a Meld Strike and just got right click down. Like had level 1 Starstorm, so couldn't like go for an arrow run away. And yeah, Jim Park just gets an easy first blood.
Well, we've seen what he can do with a good start. So giving first blood over to Mr. Jim Park's not going to be too good. And now keep in mind, he also TP'd up. So he's going to have to make the walk a shame.
Yeah, I mean, Crit often hyped up as like kind of the MVP of Shopify in a lot of their wins. And that was a costly misplay from him, a rare kind of misplay, but that's going to really affect their laning stage. And we've kind of, we talk about Shopify, a lot of their strength often is this laning stage, and if you're giving up ground to Beast Coast early on, a second kill. Oh boy, this early game, this top lane specifically goes from bad to worse.
And the early boots from Jim Park, just super aggressive for him. They're doing an incredible job to be able to play together. I guess you had a decent chunk of the tour to be able to build the synergy, and all they needed was a couple of weeks from these boys in the safe lane. They're going to even go for Crit as well. Still level 1 on the Mirana, so there will be no leap away. A third kill for Beast Coast in their safe lane.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, if you're a Mirana, it's like, do you even want to get leap level 2? You won't have arrow then until level 3, so it's either way, it's not ideal for your lane, although we have seen a bit of a shift towards this more like Leap Starstorm build. It's great, like, I was like snaking on Tundra, who was doing this 5 Mirana with Starstorm Leap, but when you're not strong enough to really go for Leap in, so you're not really getting value out of your Leap either. Just a really rock and a hard place kind of scenario for this Mirana now.
Does look like at least their other lanes are going quite well. Mid seems Miracle had a pretty good start, 12-1 compared to the 15-3. Bottom as well. They've very much bullied Sacred. Only 7 last hits. They've been forced to kind of do some awkward lane dragging shenanigans, which is a lot more difficult now with the new map.
We're fighting the mid lane here between Miracle and Dark Mago. We'll get the triple race here, but
okay.
Radiant's courier has been killed.
Yeah, we'll see if that rotation comes in anytime soon. This is kind of that point where any kind of support rotation could turn the tides of this mid lane. There we go. Yeah, it is the leap at level 2 from Mirana, so be having an arrow, which, for your lane itself is fine, but for the rotations around runes, not having arrows can be very impactful.
We shall see. I mean, is anyone going to start to rotate for the upcoming water runes? Doesn't look like it's going to be the case. So it should be a split between the two, but if Dark Margot's got great resources to potentially take both. As, I mean, we were hoping Shopify would be able to bring out some stronger lanes in the second game, and well, at least Beast Coast are proving like they've got the advantage in multiple so far. Miracle is going to try and swing on over and take away one of the bounty runes, so at least looking to try and prioritize his refills.
This bottom lane, they put a lot of pressure on the Timbersaw though. The Silencer was a really good answer to the Timber pick, giving it a really rough time in the lane, and even in the mid game it'll be an issue for Timber until you get that like Lotus Orb or Yule Scepter to kind of address some of the silences that come out. So early on they've given Arteezy complete free farm as a result of the way these lanes have been set up.
See if they even want to try and continue to stack for him as well. Like, I mean, I don't know if Crit can actually even leave Saberlight though in this lane, which is a bit of a concern. You'd love to be able to continue to enable the Medusa, but if you do so, then Saberlight might be forced to take a bit more of a backseat. So we will see first rotation though. Stinger's going to start to move his way down to bottom. So let's see what Creep he's going to be able to play with to try and help out this lane that really is not going well at all. As Sacred might even go down if Fly can get a little bit of extra damage.
The Ench came bottom through the gate, saw an Ogre Creep and was like, nope, I'm out. I can't do anything with this. And also, all the action's happening so deep here.
Sacred? Well, they're going to turn it back around. Look at the health pool that both Beast Coast are playing with, but they feel it's enough. 2v1 up against the squishy Fly. Means they're going to be able to strike back potentially. No, Fly will live. Okay, but still top lane though. We see it's another kill, potentially second. Crit just survives on a slither of health. Somehow he did the calculation to not pop the healing Lotus.
Yeah, but this top lane still looks pretty disastrous. The TA free farming and getting kills on top of that. 4-0 early lead, all from this top lane. Dark Mago's gone pretty uncontested mid, but needs to be careful. A little cheeky silencer poke coming his way, but that's not going to lead to anything, and I think any hope of a kill on the Void Spirit is quickly disappearing since his level 6 is getting closer and closer. Shaker did make a move over, but
they're going to kill Saber again.
Yeah.
Oh, they pre-tip him. Okay, man, this is scary. A stand-in is playing with this much confidence to pre-tip someone? Like, come on now, Jim Park. This guy's bodying what feels like every single game. He's so far on top. Don't look at the net worth. God, you're a Shopify fan. You don't want to see that 1100 lead over Arteezy's do so.
Yeah, no, it's fine. They're only like 10 CS apart is what I saw, you know? That's
yeah.
nothing.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, 8 CS, you know? It's nothing.
Yeah, being 3-0 and 2.
Well, that's the thing. Arteezy's like, that's not my fault he's way more farm than me. blame Saberline and his doom for going like 0-3 here. No. Just a perfectly executed top lane. I mean, they've had a great time there. That's why they picked the Ench. I mean, they're so good at picking Jim Park's heroes in the first phase and then giving him like the dream lane. Like, this has just been the recipe for success for Beast Coast.
Again, Mr. Sabre. Another death. Fissure is on point from Schofield. This is a big attempt mid lane though. Dark Margot in a lot of danger. Shopify Rebellion, they will be able to strike back in a pretty good fashion as well with the kill onto the Shadow Fiend, a big one at that. Miracle even gets the bonus gold as well, so that's going to be huge for him to potentially look to get active through the early game.
I need Miracle to really step up in a big way, and not to say he's played or done anything badly. It's just like things are not going well in these side lanes, and Miracle's the one who has the ability to kind of change the flow of this game. Alongside the supports, they got to start making some moves.
He may be dead again. Nope. Add another one to the tally, because Saberlight's got no boys to play with. They'll TP in. Might be a bit too late, though. They got a good read on where Jim Park's going. In fact, Mirana... Oh, they cancelled his TP. So now mid lane, though. Arrow's going to fly on past. Dark Margot steps over towards Radiant's territory, and he's going to be penalized. And now a Miracle. They'll also be able to get the kill onto Schofield. So the Savior is still here. Miracle ready to go with his Void Spirit. 2-0-1. And that goal is now going to give him treads completed. Let's see what more he's able to do on the map for Shopify.
Yeah, that's good needed. Good news, much needed. The SF going down there, he was, farming incredibly well in the mid lane, but now he's, dropped down quite a bit. And there is obviously a major TA problem that's gone unaddressed, but at least there is signs of life coming out from Shopify, prioritizing what they can do in this mid lane. Secret not going to get the damage for the kill here. He's out of mana too, so.
Looks like it's going to be a long chase down from Arteezy.
Yeah.
Oh. Snakes on cooldown. Sacred should be able to make it. Meanwhile, Jim Park solo kills Saberlight. You can't come back to this lane. You can't come back.
Those kind of deaths start to become a little bit inexcusable. It's like, it's a TA. Like, you know what the hero does. It's a TA by herself. Like, you can't afford to just be going down. Like, there's no surprise factor. There's no smoke gank from a support. And Saberlight is just feeding away gold at this point.
Well, Parker, do you believe in the miracle show? Because we might need to have a bit of a flashback in time here for him. 4-0-1, haste rune now as well. Looks like he's got the Oblivion staff now completed. So they're playing, I like what they're doing. They're playing around their strongest hero currently. Yes, it is meaning that Saberlight is continuing to get bodied, but if you just need to keep playing with Miracle. He's your way back into this game.
I'm a bit of a boomer, so, I've definitely got belief in Miracle. Giving me some, just need to go back, take it back to 2015, and there could be a chance here for Shopify. And ultimately, yeah, you look up and you see, okay, less than 1k gold difference. Arteezy has also had a good time. Like, I was going to say free farm. He's 1,500 net worth behind TA, but he has had close to free farm down here. He's not really been pressured too much. He will eventually lose his tower because that's just what Timbersaw does. But he's had a good game so far and is in a position to scale well. And now they take the mid tower with the support rotation as well, which is partly why Arteezy gets bullied out bottom. The supports commit to mid, but I like that the supports are playing around Miracle's Void Spirit, and if they can execute a successful rotation on this TA, that'd be huge. They scan as well, so they know exactly where the TA is.
Oh, they're going to guess wrong.
Oh, they went the wrong direction. TA may show here, though.
Is the team going to be able to rack? They could just pop the global silence. I mean, Saberlight's playing super aggressive in the lane, but it's not going to matter. Doom as well. All the hate onto Jim Park, and now with Sacred here, they've got no spells to be able to combat the reinforcements. Can they cancel Miracle's Rift? Schofield will. Can he just go through a second time? Miracle. He's got the haste to work with for a quarter duration. And be able to get some distance away and should be able to make it out of danger.
I guess, a bit of a neutral trade, I would say. I was going to say a win for Shopify. Like, definitely a mental win. You kill this damn TA. But the TA got a kill before she even died. Like, they 4-man gate the TA. TA's just like, Melt Strike and 2 shots crits Mirana before going down. So, TA didn't go down without a fight. And then they, the cavalry shows up, they get another support kill. So I think all the TP rotations getting just a support, ultimately for Beast Coast wasn't the greatest. But yeah, the TA for double support trade probably works out pretty even there.
Miracle is definitely the one that's happy, though. He was able to get the streak of Jim Park, so this guy balling out of control. As we see just all the ultimates they needed, but unfortunately with them on cooldown, it just meant that Sacred and Co were able to clean up. So let's see what Beast Coast now want to do now, because still, we have such an interesting game where top was so bad for Saberlighters. Meanwhile, mid lane, Margot. Considering about the Requiem's, not going to be easy though. Miracle's still got to simulate another ultimate charge to work with. Crit does leap in aggressively, and these impetus are starting to stack up from Stinger, and that'll be enough to get the kill. So Crit knows his fate, and he's not going to avoid it.
Is that just a rough game overall? Another death. Him and Saberlight just really being bullied a bit in that top lane, and even just how the game's gone since then. But, with the TA going down, I think that's the other thing that, Beast Coast can kind of at least, relax in thinking, is that they've got 2 good scaling cores. They've got the SF as well. Even Timbersaw, who's not had the best time. That bottom lane was a bit rough. But Timbersaw's a hero that there isn't really, the Doom and Silencer offer some answers, but you can't doom all 3 of these cores here in the late game.
Let's see where this attempt's going to be once again.
Nope.
It's the OG trio. What can they do to try and bring Shopify back into a position where it will be contestable? I mean, this is a perfect move. Jim Park on the high ground. What a read from Shopify, knowing exactly his farming pattern. And they'll be rewarded with a wisdom room as well. That is an incredible move from Shopify.
Yeah, massive. Miracles. I mean, he's almost as farmed as the TA. He's the top net worth on the Radiant side. It's not like he's been farming. He's just been making these moves and rotations. Obviously getting a lot of creeps in the process, but 6-0-1 so far. Echo Saber has the Deso queued up, so not going all in maybe on full stat items, wanting some actual damage to scale and be able to get some of these kills, recognizing that, you know, single target damage is maybe something that they lack with Doom having a rough game. And the two supports are not really damage dealing supports, so he's putting a bit more emphasis on his own damage output.
They're going to go instantly to the top. Sacred will get a glimpse of crit. Sacred's actually going to try and play aggressive here. They'll have enough time to react with the supports, but Miracle's damage seems to be overwhelming. And this is starting to get a little bit spooky. Yes, that lane was incredibly favored towards the TA, but one big issue is that who makes plays on Beast Coast? You do not have this Void Spirit on your team. You've got this greedy TA plus Shadow Fiend as your mid lane kind of core setup. Sacred's not going to be able to play active. In fact, Sacred, he's vulnerable to going down with all the damage they have at the moment. So there is a lot of momentum that's starting to be built off the back of the trio that we see out of Shopify.
Yeah, they are just making all the plays and moves on the map, and something I touched a bit upon during the draft was just like, yeah, you know, Beast Coast may have to weather this storm where Void Spirit can make all the plays he wants around the map, and they don't really have an answer to it. You know, they're the ones with the greedier farming side of the equation in this draft. With SFTA and Timber, they're looking to scale and go more late game, but as a result, they're kind of giving Shopify free reign to do whatever they want here.
Does seem like they're going to be ready to start to hit back on Beast Coast. You got the blink now for Schofield. Jim Park's even winning a blink dagger of his own as well. So there is going to be a lot of burst potential. Just a fissure into the Timber spells or either into the jump in from Jim Park as well. But if they're looking to blow one person up from Beast Coast, who do we feel like the priority needs to be on?
I think at all stages of the game, in some ways, it's always going to be this TA. Timber's always one of these heroes you can just kind of ignore if possible.
Oh, Global used defensively. But they still got some boys to play around as well, as Miracle wants to jump in and finds the finishing blow. He's out of mobility though. Schofield's going to be able to get a glimpse of his retreat. Dark Margaret's even swinging on over as well. Will be lacking detection and lacking stun, so Miracle's out of danger. Looks like Fly will avoid it too.
Managed to get out unscathed, so Beast Coast rotation, we see those issues where that kind of lack of catcher initiation and also the lack of maybe detection there for the Mirana Moonlight Shadow costing them. So this is a game state where, you know, things have kind of stabilized and Shopify managed to find numerous kills around the map. They're still down on kills, but it's been all the momentum's going their way with all the recent kills being picked up by the Void Spirit rotation.
Do we think we need to be looking towards Roshan pretty shortly? I mean, we know a TA lineup has the capability to take it. So do you feel like you'd like to see Beast Coast play around top?
I think they're going to be a little bit careful. If Global's down, which I think it is for a little bit longer, that's fine. But in general, their draft is not really ready to team fight.
Oh, nice blink away. Get some distance over to the left side. Sablelight's still going to be able to drop the Doom. And TA's completely isolated. There's no reinforcements to protect her as the Doom target because they're putting all their attention over towards Miracle, but without the Earthshaker, they're going to be lacking stuns. Maybe Stinger's got the damage though. Dark Margo up on the high ground looking for the raises. Miracle's out of danger, and now they'll turn to the Timber as well as Margo is trying to cover Sacred with the Requiem. It'll do a good off job to send Shopify back to their high ground. But that is another engagement that goes the way of Radiant.
Yeah, just TA going a bit too aggressive there, thinking that there was maybe a play to be made, but she was blinking into a lot of heroes.
Look at the damage, Miracle. He might just die now though. Dark Margaret says, all right, thanks for the freebie. I'll take that one, my good sir. It's a huge streak as well. So in fact, after that kill, it puts Dark Margot neck and neck with Miracle's net worth, and Stinger May even get crit as well. Not going to have the damage. Schofield will be hesitant about jumping for the finishing blow as well.
Stinger's Wrench has been doing a lot of damage in all these engagements and fights. And that's Impetus just doing wonders. And we'll see if he can scale now. Has the 4 stuff coming up to go with the Pavis. Going more for that kind of support utility build. But always potential for the Ench to become like another scaling core in the mid-game fights.
Dire's top tower is under attack. Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Let's see if she can get there though. Seeing up 4-star form is coming 5-1 and 4 actually. Okay. Don't see that KDA for her.
Yeah, a lot. I mean, that top lane there was a lot of kills.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
It was like a 0-7 lane or something. I feel like at like 6 minutes in.
How did they? Oh, they had the sentry on the cliff. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I too was like, how does she miracle? But Sacred's gonna chain in aggressively. Dire's starting to rotate more numbers down.
Yeah.
It's gonna be the call. Global Silence. Miracle's in a little bit of danger in the tree line. Might try and get the kill before he escapes. Doesn't have the remaining resources. Now he's in danger as Jim Park has to go through the Crimson Guard, but that will be no concern with Sacred nearby. And now Shopify, it's an all-out retreat, but unfortunately for the Silencer, he'll only get a few steps away as he's cut down right next to the tier 2 tower. And now Beast Coast can look to get a big objective and potentially Roshan as well once they get this tower.
Yeah, that's such a big kill. The Void Spirit's the one that really dictates all of Shopify's moves. So you bring down the Void Spirit and there's just no plays left for them to make. They just have to go back and farm. Like, Doom Medusa will farm and farm fast, but you give up so much map control. Like you say, you maybe give up Roshan here as well, just because of that Void Spirit death, although this tower is taking some time to bring down. The Glyph will delay it, and then if they fall back and go for Roshan, there may be time for Shopify to contest it, and they just picked up a Butterfly on Medusa, so they are, at this point, you've got to start thinking about fighting around this Medusa who's getting stronger and stronger. The Butterfly meaning that Medusa can be a real big threat in these late game engagements now.
They should know. They should know, though. Beast Coast had a pretty deep Observer Ward next to the tier 2 mid that saw both the Deucer and Doom together. So let's see how they're going to be able to play accordingly to this, though. Like you said, global on cooldown, but we could still be looking at the big Doom from Saberlight.
Yeah, trying to force this Roche, though. Can Shopify get here in time?
They don't have much vision to play with. It's going to be a blind jump in from them. And Roche is falling pretty fast. Arrow's going to come through. Stinger will tank it. Miracle sees a freebie. He's going to pounce on that opportunity. Remnants off the mark with the damage. Liking! Schofield! A big echo to set up for the follower. Sacred tries to chain in, but they haven't been able to kill anyone just yet. As now they'll turn. Timbersaw's in a lot of danger, isolated from the team, but they want revenge. Arteezy's still going to stand strong. This is a big issue for them at the moment. So the call from Beast Coast is just to completely avoid the carriers. Jim Park assassinates the Silencer up to the north. Saberlight, though, what can he look to do without the ultimate already used? They're under the cover of the Moonlight Shadow. Still super awkward. They're just going to deal with the easy heroes. Leave Arteezy to loss. It's incredible man to dodge, but is it really going to be enough? They'll be able to secure the kill onto the T8. Enchantress shops as well. And our Dark Margo, he can be chased down too. Do you have the movement speed to escape? Illusion block. Wait. Hey, what? Aegis still in pit? What? What's going on?
He got it.
Indeed. No way. Okay, dude, so what? Did we just
The TA never picked up Aegis.
Okay, do you blame her? We just had one of the best echoes you could have in a game, and I imagine the Earthshaker was saying, boys, you don't get your ass over here off the back of the echo. I swear to God, it doesn't even matter about the Aegis.
I feel like we got to see that one again. Yeah, the TA just never picked it up. Oh, beautiful echo. I feel like Dark Mago was like a little bit unsure what to do. He's like, I'm a bit far away to Requiem, but then he's like, he actually canceled the Requiem, and then he was like, wait a second, I just need a Requiem and cast to get the fear on them. But I think that Requiem cancel was kind of costly for Beast Coast there. At the same time, the fight still worked out amazing. If this TA had the Aegis, they just kill Arteezy here. Yeah. But they do end up at least walking away with the If SF didn't get Aegis, that would be hilarious.
Even a minor thing for Saberlight's decision to actually doom the Earthshaker as well. If he got Fissure after the Echo, they probably team wipe them. So I mean, you may think it's a wasted doom with already Echo using Enchant Totem, but if there was a follow-up stun, that could have just been a disastrous fight. And well, they're actually posturing like they want objectives on Shopify.
Well, this Medusa's becoming this pretty unstoppable force now. With that said, you know, the dual scaling core is a lot of physical damage from the SF and TA. A lot of benefit from that minus armor, but they're going to need some MKBs. They're going to need ways to deal with the evasion, I feel like, of this butterfly.
Even just to deal with the support. I mean, Schofield with the gold he just had from that fight, 8th lens, but Eye of the Vizier as well. So he's going to have a really long cast range of the Fissure. His has the Ag Shard as well. So just got it received, which is going to be huge for him. This Earthshaker is... it's solely going to be onto the Void Spirit to be able to jump him. So all eyes on Miracle. I mean, all our attention has been on him through the entirety of this game. Is a big reason why this game is as even as what it is, but he needs to continue to play incredible.
We'll see if he can continue to step it up. He's got the farm to scale well. But this TA, there we go. The MKB is queued up. Mentioned the evasion becoming a bigger and bigger problem, so looking to directly address that one, and we'll see Arteezy continue to farm up as well.
Do you feel like Dire are going to be able to, like, who scales better in this game? Because I feel like TA with the scaling versus Deucer is a little bit more Deucer favored, but then you have all the other heroes that are okay. So is there even a side you feel like is a little bit more favored as this one goes later? Is Sacred? Gonna be some danger. Don't even need the Doom with the Wall Storm to be able to set up for the arrow. Schofield's just too late to counter initiate.
Yep, they're gonna have their high ground getting poked a bit here. No Timber to defend with. That's often the wall in the front lines. And yeah, we're seeing some of that late game scale in Medusa, and you've also got the Doom as well. So I honestly think Shopify's draft goes late game just fine here. Okay. Yeah, they've got like the SF to kind of combo with the TA as like a double right-click carry against Medusa, but I think the supporting cast of Shopify gives them a pretty good chance here.
Oh, look at the damage. Miracle blows up Stinger. He's got to buy back. Jim Park's now going to TP back to base. Let's see what the call is going to be with the Templar Assassin showing. This is a big timing, though, from Arteezy. Scotty completed. Very good against the dual range cores that Beast Coast are playing with and the Timber as well. Well, Schofield going to be caught out. Let's see if he can play around the Blink. Not even an opportunity. Miracle's just doing so much damage.
Yeah, this Void Spirit build has worked out really nicely. Just giving that extra single target damage that, you know, Doom and Medusa kind of lack in a sense, not to mention the support. So having that Deso and just really scaling up, not to mention whoever you're attacking, you're buffing up Medusa's right-click damage by lowering their armor. So just putting Shopify in a position where they actually, yeah, late game wise, they're scaling fine. But at the same time, you know, it's both sides. Like both sides have really good scaling here. Shaker's an amazing late game support. Enchantress is another support that can scale and offer like a ranged DPS threat against a Medusa. So it really will come down to the execution, whether or not, you know, Shaker can land some of these really big fissures and echo slams, but then there's things like Global Silence to worry about, who's getting doomed. Really just the spell usage is going to really dictate how some of these late game fights will go.
Yep. And just your utility as well overall. We see a couple of halberds starting to get worked on. Saberlight just completed his. Miracle did have one queued up prior. He's going to change his mind for the Skadi now, but even the Enchantress on Stinger is closing on a halberd, so seems like there's also going to be a lot of importance on those items. That's lovely. Saberlight gets a double Wisdom Room, so your Doom, who had a very rough lane, 3, 7, and 5 Saberlight is currently, is looking pretty decent in net worth. In fact, I mean, he's further ahead than Sacred, who's really continuing to struggle on this Timber. I was gonna say they might just jump Sacred as soon as they see him. Man, Shopify continuing to play super aggressive across the map. I know this Aegis has expired for a little bit of time now. They are giving no breathing room for Beast Coast.
Yeah, I think Shopify's like the way they can kind of play their aggression around. Like Medusa can just show anywhere and be unafraid of dying. So their execution's so much easier. Whereas anybody on Beast Coast who's showing is at risk of getting like jumped on by Void Spirit, doomed. There's just so many ways for even like a tanky Timbersaw to go down. Whereas Medusa
Speaking
just
of the Timber, he's gonna go down just like that. Miracle and crit together. Even a global silence has to be used though to stop the potential of Schofield keeping him alive. Can he do it again? Margot potentially is going to try and set up for the Requiem.
Thought about it. They didn't necessarily see him coming there, but maybe if you can have the Requiem Fear push RTZ further into the base, that could be one way to try and start a fight here, but it's very high risk. If he gets off that ultimate and you're not killing him fast enough, all of a sudden that things can backfire quickly.
Saberlight, you're standing on a ward. Okay. So they're coming outside the base. You got to get rid of that pretty fast. Miracle jump straight on top. Is this an opening? Oh, nice man to dodge. Gets out of the aftershock. Maybe it wasn't even going to matter, but any potential danger, he's okay. Even snipes the Cory, which would have been the Daedalus as well for Jim Park. So a little bit less damage that TA will be outputting now for the next 3 minutes.
It's a nice little find for them, and really feels like Shopify are smelling blood in the water. They've just completely camped themselves outside of Beast Coast's base. It does not feel like a 2k gold lead at all. Kills almost even, but it's Shopify who are just really up in Beast Coast's face, and Beast Coast are like, they're trying to, Dark Mago's trying to get up on the map to do some split pushing, but even he has to be a bit careful because he's being hunted.
What would you say the probability is currently? When it's pretty even game, even though Shopify have really been the aggressors lately.
I feel like it's like 70-30 Shopify right now. Maybe 65-35.
83%, Mr. Gaben says.
83, wow.
Yeah.
In Shopify's favor, I assume.
Yes.
Okay.
A bit more. Wasn't really expecting it to be that, at least that sided for Shopify currently, but of course it's, I mean, even off the incredibly bad start they had, the fact that they are in this game, and in fact the ones with the lead, is big props to really the trio that we saw, Fly, Crit, and Miracle.
I think Dota Plus seems to not like, I think it was the last game where they were owning with TA, and we thought it was like 95-5, and Dota Plus was like, nah, it's like 80-20. So, something about Dota Plus does not believe in TA drafts. But
doesn't get any easier though with free Roche.
Yeah, honestly, this one is definitely, this current game state, very Shopify favorite. Obviously, they're going to get Aegis, but you can just, you sense it. Like wherever Shopify go, Beast Coast is dodging fights. They can't make plays. Blood grenade on the ground, not going to be picked up. But and the execution is just so much easier for Shopify. You just have Medusa walk down these lanes, sit behind her. Anybody on Beast Coast who shows. You can jump them with the Void Spirit or the Doom with a Global Silence to protect the jump. And on Beast Coast side, your initiation, your Shaker is just, it's a little bit unreliable because of the Global Silence and because of just the lack of damage to kill heroes like Medusa.
And you don't have that tanky offlaner like Sacred who can maybe soak up some of the spells and force Shopify to overcommit and then to group up for those abilities. We've seen Sacred way too many times this game has just been blown up 4-0. And it might happen again mid lane. Let this Skadi slow. The rest of the team is starting to move on over towards RTZ's location, but Sacred finds another chain and looks like he'll get out of danger.
Yeah.
They see Jim Park out of the lane bottom. This Observer deep outside might be his demise. Once again, starting to move down. Sidestep, that should reveal a ward, and instantly Saberlight gets rid of it.
Yeah, I think this Timber not being more farmed than tankier is a big, big problem moving forward. Like, you need a Timber who can really frontline, but when your Timber is just getting, like, blown up and with really nothing at all needing to be used, is a big problem.
Let's see. Some big items were just completed, though. That Daedalus finally got delivered to Jim Park once the Cory respawned. Halberd as well for Stinger. So we've seen this has always been a great way to mitigate some of the effectiveness out of the Dusa. Just Halberd avoid it for that 5 seconds and try and deal with everyone else. Will they hunt? Oh, that is a illusion, my good sir. No one saw it, because meanwhile Arteezy is getting chased from Beast Coast. They know that Doom was used. They won't have this in the arsenal, but of course have to go through multiple lives of Arteezy. Beast Coast was sacred. Oh my lord.
Back to safety. Like you say, nobody saw it. Doom, it's a bug. It's a visual bug. It's not on cooldown.
Yes. Nah, not on cooldown at all. What? Just a sound bug. Sounded like he used it, but, you know, in fact, it's still available, ready to go.
Beast Coast just trying to be annoying. Stole out the Aegis. Defend the high ground. They, you know, you're kind of at that point where it's like, well, Medusa's 6 slotted. She's not getting any more farm, really, whereas, you know, OSF has another item or two. I mean, TA is also pretty close to being maxed out, but I think if you're Beast Coast, the mentality just has to be like, you know, all we can really do is try and stall this one out a bit. They're still very close in terms of overall farm. There is some scaling on support.
Stinger, not that way. Oh, no. Oh, poor Stinger. This goddamn Absorber that was still outside the base. It just expired, but they saw the move over towards the Tormentor. So Arteezy started to move on over and help them get the kill on the chance. It's not the biggest kill, but maybe they can poke high ground for a little bit if they feel like they have the opportunity, but they're going to back on off. So still no value out of this Aegis just yet for Shopify.
Yeah, they're not looking to force the high ground. It is a little bit risky. Not that I think Medusa can like easily be killed or bursted, but just that like separation factor where, you know, you can block off the ramp with a fissure, isolate Medusa, and maybe cause some problems that Shopify don't want to mess with. They feel confident that they can scale this tower.
Jim Park, they're going to commit for this. There's an opportunity. Global Silence lay it down. The Fisher's going to try and do its best to protect Jim Park, but it's not going to be enough as now Miracle. He'll turn to Sacred, in some danger with the Silence. Schofield sets up for the Echo. Dark Margot wanting to try and cast the Requiem, but the Hellbird's going to disrupt the physical damage, so Miracle can play accordingly. In fact, he jumps in. Miracle senses blood in the water, wants to try and get some more kills, but now he's gone too far. As the buybacks on Beast Coast, they'll be able to penalize that deep attempt, but can they get out on Shopify? A Fisher from downtown will stop Crit's TP short, but at least it's just a Mirana that will be cut down instead of some other cores on Shopify.
Oh, a decent hold in the end. Was an expensive one when you're using several buybacks on your cores. Yeah, you can see there, even the gold change not favoring Beast Coast because of the buybacks, and now you're in a tactical disadvantage because you're playing without these buybacks, so any jump or pick off on a TA could just be game over, but they at least got some of those valuable kills. They held their high ground, and they're buying time for this Aegis to expire, so they'll have an opening to maybe prioritize Arteezy a bit more as it's somebody initiate on some great Shaker plays in this fight, but the way it started with TA going down, it felt like TA was maybe even waiting too long to buy back. You know, I think was hoping they could just defend without the TA buyback. You see here, like, TA still holding that buyback as long as possible, as Shaker just hit amazing fissure after amazing fissure.
Back live. There's a Doom on our SF, and this time Saberlight will find the Doom on the real target. No illusion that he has to be worried about, and Arteezy is quickly there for the kill.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Well, that's what you're hoping for from your Doom. Punish the greed of Beast Coast. Beast Coast for a lot of this mid-game have just been trying to send heroes out on the map to kind of solo farm and, you know, play the split push game. Kill an SF. That is a hero with buyback, though, but...
Ooh.
Stinger. Be fine.
Oh, man, he's 25 now on Arteezy. And Jim Park is getting close, but it's really... extra refraction instances. We'll see how much it's going to help out, but it's nothing you'd compare against the 25 of the Deucer. And there's 30 seconds of free time now. See if it's going to be the call to go up high ground or not for Shopify. That's a super methodical game from them. Felt like for a long time they've been the ones with the map control, just furthering this net worth lead. The Midas really paying off. Saberlight has Octarine now, a bit later than what we've usually seen. Sometimes that is the Doom rushing it now, though, so he will continue to find his items. Of course, you got a lot of value out of the supports as well with the space they've been able to find. So this game does not look like it gets any easier for Beast Coast, and you're just praying for some heroic plays from Schofield. And he's been doing that so far this game, but just can you continue to get some incredible fights out of the Earthshaker?
Yeah, like that last fight I feel like was the most you can even hope for or ever expect to. I'll get a little pick up here on Stinger once again. Again, being the sacrificial lamb to get some scouting info. As long as Dark Mago gets out, I think you're okay with this one. But now approaching that point, you know, MKBs are up on these right-clicking cores. Getting some of this late-game damage output that they can maybe even consider prioritizing kills on Arteezy if you can chain stun him with that Shaker. But it's just so hard to reliably do so when there's a silencer in the playing field as well.
Bottom tower is under attack. Dire's structures are fortified.
What the call is going to be. How do they mount a defense on Beast Coast? Just a poke from afar, potentially. Earthshaker is a great way to delay. Even Sacred can cast some spells as well. Tier 3 tower will go down. Shopify don't want to back off just yet. They still... a big opportunity just in case Beast Coast come outside the base. But this Observer Ward out front of the bottom lane, that's got to go. That's a... they had another one there as well. This is going to be, what, Ward's last 7 minutes here? That's going to be 14 minutes where they've had a ward in that exact location, which has resulted in... I can't even count how many pickoffs they've gotten from that ward place.
Yeah, they've got the gem on the Shaker, but they're like, Shaker is just sitting back. If anything, the gem needs to be on like a different hero or something, like a Timber, but if it's on someone who's frontlining, they may just lose the gem. So it's a bit of a tricky situation, I think, for Beast Coast when it comes to the vision game. And there's even a similar ward in the mid lane, so all of them, anyone leaving this Beast Coast base is being constantly scouted out. They are going to go for a little smoke play, though. They get several heroes out of the base here. It may just be a Mirana kill, but at this point, you take whatever you can get to get out of your base.
See what they can work with it. Oh, Fly's a pretty nice pick off. They have no other information, though. It's so scary to make this jump.
Yeah.
We'll get a glimpse of him now. Schofield instinct pounces. Rainbow TP's down to the outpost. What's the call from Beast Coast? Do you stick around? He's going to try and TP out on my lord. The Remnant just off the mark. Schofield crit for Miracle. Gem dropped on the deck in our Stinger. He didn't escape as well. Oh, now this time they'll be able to catch him too. So you get the kill onto Fly, but it's got to cost you both your supports in our Shopify. Unfortunately for them, Roche is going to be up in 45 seconds, so Beast Coast will have their full 5-man to potentially contest that.
Yeah, I think this is a bit of an odd smoke move, just because you're doing it with 3 heroes. Maybe they were thinking the others could like connect, or like I'm not entirely sure. With Roche respawning, just doing for a 3-man smoke there seems very risky. I mean, Roche wasn't up, but these teams don't know the exact respawn time. They also lose their gem now as well, so puts them in a really precarious position. This is pretty much a guaranteed Aegis, I feel like, for Shopify at this point. You're going to be trapped in your base once again, but, you know, they can keep stalling things. They've got TA traps littering their base here. You know, they've managed to get the SF out of their base to get some farm, so they are continuing to scale pretty well. Shaker high ground defense is solid, but yeah, there's no real signs of movement to leave and contest Roshan right now.
And Arteezy denying Wisdom Runes as well. Oh, Saber, nice Manta from Margot, top lane. Oh my lord, very close. The Manta used from the SF to be able to disjoint, so to say, the Doom animation. He was able to get away. Saberlight has done a very good job over the past couple of minutes of just hunting these kind of top and bottom jungle areas. It's really enabled with the Ninja gear as well, so it's very difficult for Margaret to be able to catch up, and Roche will go for free. So you've got Aegis, you've got Cheese, and now the Blessing up for grabs. Looks like Saberlight, I should say, is going to be the one to claim that.
Yeah. And that's one way, you know, you don't have to worry about Manta plays like that if you can just go for the AoE Doom. So, let's see what the move is going to be here moving forward, but it does feel like once again we're in that situation where Beast Coast is going to be camping their high ground, trying to defend and stall. They may even have to give up a lane of Rax here if they're not careful.
Yep. That's a super aggressive jump. A pretty good arrow though. Huge target's going to be the Earthshaker. Miracle wants to try and bring him down. Schofield has at least got a buyback, so we'll be able to rejoin the boys, but he's got to use it pretty soon because they're starting to go even further. Jim Park, Global Silence there. He doesn't have a buyback. It's too late. Schofield will try and drop the Echo. Miracle's in some danger with a finish up, but there's just no damage. They've got out of the troubling stage, and now they can look to clean everyone up inside the base and out front of the fountain. As the buybacks just came too late, the hesitancy from the Earthshaker cost them gravely there, and that's probably the last fight of the game.
Yep. The buybacks just came back up on the Timbersaw. T8 has
Margot.
buyback cooldown, but no buyback money. And GG.
And GG indeed, so... Wow, what? This game was looking very, very grim to start. Top lane did not go well at all for Saberlight and Crit, but all the other lanes